Probably want to test it out the pest glaives to see what the jumping two-handed or halberd was.
2 hours and 52 minutes into this playthrough, I had managed to completely no-diff the Draconic tree Sentinel. And this was the combination of a boss run, which involved Commander O'Neill, a Falling Star Beast, the second iteration of Margit, and a Godskin Apostle. All of whom I managed to beat within the space of about 20 minutes, and all of whom I managed to beat on my first try. And 2 of whom, that is Margit and the Godskin Apostle, I managed to beat without even healing between. This build here is a combination of the first build I ever beat Elden Ring with, and a build I used on a live stream where I managed to take down the Fire Giant on my first try.
No, you don't get a second phase. Piss off. Jackass thought he got a second phase. You don't get a second phase.
Barely 2 hours before this, I was a starting level warrior with a piddly little axe which wouldn't kill a fly. Well, not an Elden Ring fly anyway. And I was just off the back of getting my ass handed to me in about 5 seconds by a grafted scion. However, I had a plan. See, I knew that the best way to start with Elden Ring is to start with a weapon. Start with a weapon, you have a good thing to base your build on, and since my favourite weapon is still the Great Stars, I decided I'd get one of them, and then I decided, why not get 2? So I got the Half of the Medallion at Fort Hague, and hopped the portal over to Caelid, at which point I ran down, sat down next to a big dragon, and got the second half of the medallion out of Fort Fareth. Speaking of names, I did take the time to be pissed off by Elden Ring's naming choices on my way there.
Flying Dragon Grail. Flying? Really? That's the defining characteristic of this one? It flies? It's a dragon! They all do!
Then, I of course had to ride all the way across the Liurnia the Lakes region. Seriously, why is this place so big? It does not need to be this big and this empty. And after that, I went up to the Altus Plateau using the Lift of Dectus. Following that, I rode across the Altus Plateau, which they equipped with a handy portal. And that portal sent me right next to a caravan pulled by slave labour, from which I pillaged a big stick with which to hit things very hard. I decided to pay homage to my first ever Elden Ring playthrough and get Wild Strikes as a placeholder from Ash of War. And using the big stick, I hit the thing made of crystal until it died and dropped a thing which I could give to a creepy hag, who would then sell me bits of rock I could use to make my big stick hit things even harder. I also went to another mine and picked up another thing I could give to the same crone lady to give me better bits of rock to make my big stick hit things even harder than that. God, leveling systems are really lame when you think about them. Much like in real life, in order to do anything with my resources, I needed other resources. In this case, runes. And since Margit wasn't doing anything with his, I thought I'd just kill him and take them. Now, as you can see, at this point I was dealing a lot of damage, but also I couldn't take very much on account of having no HP whatsoever.
Die.
20,000 runes was just enough to get my bonking stick to the level I needed it to be, that I could just waltz my way through Stormvale Castle, at which point I had to use my bonking stick to kill the wanker at the end of this castle, along with a couple of armoured wankers in the middle. And on my way through I decided to pick up the Clawmark Talisman, as that thing would be essential to my full build once I managed to get the Cloak of Black Feathers and the second Great Stars. Killing Godric wasn't exactly a problem, but staying alive to kill him was. Remember, I still hadn't put any points into my HP stat, so a couple of hits from that axe of his, or in his case usually a couple of hits from that flailing body, because he doesn't need to hit you with the axe, he could just hit you with one of his elbows and it deals the same amount of damage. Thank you, Elden Ring hitboxes. Point being, the fight was annoying, but ultimately easy as hell, because it's Godric, he's built to be easy. I mean, his lore literally states he's underwhelming and useless.
Well, no you won't, because you're dead now.
At this point I decided that I might as well go and kill the big dragon lying in the dirt, because, well, it's not doing anything with its runes either. In fact, it's doing even less than Market. And once I put a decent number of runes into health, stamina and strength, I decided I'd head down the hill and see how that Knight Rider, or whatever he's called, Knight's Cavalry? Why does everything in Elden Ring have a stupid name? And decided that I'd go and see if I could kill it. Turns out I could not. Since I'd already killed Godric, and since I wanted the second Great Stars, and a nice place to farm some runes really quickly, I decided to do Vare's questline next, which was very tedious. It involved way too much talking, dying to Viking his madness a couple of times, but all in all it was Vare's questline. Simple, easy, and at the end of it I get the lovely grind spot with the crow, along with the second Great Stars. I spent less than 10 minutes at the crow, just killing it over and over again. It was pretty simple. I think I gained like 10, 15 levels, somewhere like that. It was all I really needed, and then I buggered off and went to do something else. What was that something else? It was going to get the Raptor's Black Feathers and turning my character into a living pogo stick of mass destruction. So, I had health, I had damage, I had stamina, I had decent-ish armour, I had more damage, and I had more damage. So I decided, time for round 2. And I really, really, really hate the Knight's Cavalry. I hate the horse jumping about, meaning that it's hard to land melee attacks. I hate the guy's insane reach. I hate the fact that the handle of his halberd deals as much damage as the head of it. But in the end, I managed to kill the guy and got the sweetest reward, the Bloodhound Steppe Ash of War. And that there brings us about full circle. I'd managed all of this in the space of about 2.5 hours. After that I decided to just kill a few bosses, have some fun, test out the build, and ended the run killing the Draconic Tree Sentinel. It was fun. It was a ridiculously hard boss to fight at 3 hours into the game, and I killed it very easily. Don't know if that says more about my skill level. No, it doesn't. It says nothing about my skill level. My skill level is, as it always was, abysmal. But it does say that with proper planning and some internet, you can make Elden Ring, or at least the first 3 hours of it, ridiculously easy. If for some unearthly reason you want to keep listening to me talk, you can go and actually watch the stream. It's linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and good luck with your Elden Ring playthroughs and whatever other games you're going to be playing. Because let's be honest, if you have managed to find my crappy little corner of YouTube, you probably watch a lot of videos about games.